All right, hi everyone, and welcome to this special date and time of the TimingResearch.com crowd forecast news show for February 18th, 2025. We are recording this at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and this is episode number 466. So we did a 7 p.m. show a few weeks ago, and I thought everyone liked that, and so I thought because of the market holiday yesterday, I thought we'd try this at on Tuesday at 8 p.m. But I think we're going to try going for 7 p.m. on
Yep.
Mondays for the next few weeks. So
Yeah.
so be sure to join us on TimingResearch.com 7 p.m. Every Monday for the next few weeks at least, and we'll give that a try. So for today, I have a great expert panel lined up for you. Michael Filighera is back, and as well as Sunny Harris. And the option professor is here to moderate. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him.
Okay. Well, I think this is going to be a great show because we are on the precipice of either a big blow off to the upside and an acceleration phase, or something is going to happen and probably get us to revert back down. So I don't think it's going to stay at this number too much longer. And it'll be interesting to see how everybody thinks. The other good thing about tonight is you're going to hear different vantage points. I try to tend to use some moving averages and momentum. Michael likes to use the Elliott wave as well as Fibonacci's, and Sunny has her own recipe, her own way of doing things with Sunny bands. So there'll be three different angles on it. So hopefully we can give you some good information that you can use and hopefully help you do a little bit better trading. Let's start out here with the S&P 500, and we notice again we're up on the ceiling again, and the question is are we going to blow through it or what? Just a quick sidebar I'll put in there for my own 2 cents is I have my momentum indicator right at a number around 60, where it is a key number because if it goes through this number, we can accelerate to the upside as the momentum indicator goes to 70 or 80, or this can be the top. So that's why I say, from what I say here, is this momentum indicator is telling me that you're really at a key point. The moving averages are still indicating an up move, but obviously that could change very quickly. So that's my 2 cents on what's going on now. Let's turn over to Sunny. And Sunny, do you want to put up your Sunny bands and give us an idea of where you're seeing things?
And do that. You cannot share the screen while they up. There we go. Did you get it?
We're looking at it, man. We got it.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. This is the E-mini, the S&P. Today, the news said that we were at an all-time closing high, and I don't see it. Looks to me like the closing high was right above where we are right now on my charts, and you'll see a channel, green channel with a light blue channel inside of it. That's my sunny bands. And it's all based mathematically on the gold and purple line in the center, which is my dynamic moving average. And the key to this one is it calculates its own lengths. You don't have to say 9 and 18 for the lengths to the two averages. You just turn it on and there it goes. And it calculates its own inputs with every tick of the market. So it's unique. And the way I read this thing typically is when it comes down to the bottom band, lower outer band, and bounces, we're going up. When it comes up and hits the upper outer band and heads down on the second bar, then we're going down. And when it bounces off of the DMA itself, then we're going back up again. Now, last week when we did CFN, I was kind of counter to the trend. I said that the market was going on up. And I still think that. I still think we have room to the upside. Even with Jim's momentum indicator, I think we're going to fly out of there.
Well, that'll change. You know, that's exactly what has to happen for it to change. So if we bust
Mhm.
out of there, then you'll get confirmation. So I think
Absolutely.
you definitely think we're at a key point here.
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this vertical line, the blue vertical line, shows me where I went long. And you'll see it's come up ever so slowly in the last three bars, but it's still headed up. And then
Yes.
my dynamic moving average histogram is this histogram down in the sort of in the middle of the chart. and it's gold and getting longer, which also tells me it biases to the upside.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. It looks like it's going to go up. It looks like it should go up. But again, with your green line right there and the momentum indicator right at 60, it has happened before where it has not blown through, and it is a divergence here because the momentum indicator when we were back in December when we made that high was a good 10 points higher almost than it is now.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting. I would be nervous about shorting it simply because the averages are so looking like it's going up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I never go off the relative strength or the momentum as a time to trade it. I just use that as, hey, listen, this is a place where it could be. Now, if we roll over, now you got some confirmation that it's going down. But without the confirmation it's going down, sticking your head into a momentum that just looks like it might be stuck, that's a dangerous trade.
Yeah. And we have a little Fed speak tomorrow too that might influence things.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think,
if those yields come down, we're going higher.
yeah. But
So
I also think that at some point this year, the Fed's going to raise interest rates. I think that everything's going to be bad enough that interest rates will have to go up to contain inflation.
that could very well be. Michael, you want to throw yours up there and give us some counting on what you see wave wise and Fibonacci wise?
Sure.
Let me turn mine off.
Thank you. I'm going to close that and go ahead and, oh, I have to send a request. Okay. Request has been sent. And
Okay, you should be able to know.
Thank you.
See,
And so
this is another situation where Zoom keeps changing the.
Zoom keeps changing the rules.
That's not how it used to work. But okay,
I think
sorry, go ahead.
It's called progress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'm going to do the SPX. Sonny did the futures. I'll do the
cash.
SPX.
Yeah, let's do the cash.
The SPX, I'm actually going to go all the way out to my maximum chart. And that chart, this goes back to actually longer than 1927. I believe it goes back to the very start, but it may be 1927, 28, just before the crash. And what I'm going to describe is exactly on an Elliott wave basis, on a very long-term picture, what are we doing? And you can see that here is the super cycle. I mean, the grand super cycle is the dark blue. And that cycle is hundreds of years in the making. And so you got 1, 2, then you got 1, 2, then you got 1, 2. So grand super cycle, cycle, and then primary, and then intermediate. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of 1 and 2. So as we're moving higher in this very dynamic, very long-term bull market, complete with periods of deflation, completes with a great crash, not just one, but two, plus 1987, which, by the way, that's it right there. It's just been a very fulfilling type of a move. But I just wanted to say that what's inside of it is everything we think that should end the world or end the economy or end all, and we've witnessed where it's come close, but it doesn't. So we tend to kind of work our way out of it, but I think the time is coming when we will not be able to, and it may be sooner rather than later. So in any case, we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 going up. So that means on the primary degree, there's primary 3, there's primary 4 going up. And that was in 2022 in January is where I thought primary 3 ended. So now I can come back down a little bit. And actually, maybe my 5 years. Some part of the problem is, there it is. So there you have the January high. There is the October 2022 low. So I have that as primary 3 and primary 4. So what are we in now? Primary wave 5, which if we revert back to my long-term chart, it is just going to complete the cycle degree. So then we have a cycle 4, and then we rally again in the super cycle to finish super cycle wave 3. And so you can see how a top will be replaced by another top, unless, of course, everything just collapses all at once. And then my count would be off. But in any case, I feel very strongly that where we're at right now is we're getting ready. So within this primary fifth wave going up, we have 5 waves of intermediate degree, which I think we're just getting ready to finish the third. Intermediate degree, the third. And when that happens, we'll be expecting an immediate fourth wave correction. But I want to tell you, here is the window that it should come back to. It's not the end of the world. Now, granted, I do feel that the S&P is going to get above 6,200 and just above 6,300 before that wave three is complete. So to drop from 63 back to 51 will feel like a crash, but it's not. It's just reassembling and redistributing a lot of money. And a lot of things will happen that'll participate in it, like interest rates may go up, interest rates may go down. But I think where we are right now, and what we saw today, by the way, was how Warren Buffett came out and stated that he is beginning to sell Mag 7. And then we started to see other large institutional trading firms back it up, saying, yep, we're starting to get out of some positions as well. And lo and behold, if you trade the NASDAQ, suddenly about 4 minutes after the opening today, the market just absolutely collapsed. And it didn't stop, along with the Dow. But we have to look at what actually they're going after. They're continuing to hammer healthcare. I don't know why United Healthcare, but they are. They knock the feet out from underneath Costco, Meta, Tesla, which came back, but and then Netflix. Now Netflix, everybody thought, oh yeah, this is worth it over $1,000. Well, the market decided, okay, great, you can have it. So that's what we saw today. But I happen to agree with Sonny, and I happen to agree with you, Jim, in that we have still, I'm going to bring this down one quick time down to my daily. You're going to see, so here we are in minor wave 5. That's the last move up to finish this intermediate third wave. And within that, it's going to also have 5 waves. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're in the fifth. And guess what? It's forming a triangle. So what is that diagonal going to look like if you can just kind of draw this type of a move and heading higher? So it races and races and races and races to get to that pinnacle. Not sure why, but it does. And it does it over and over and over again because these are always repetitive patterns. So here we are inside this 4, and it will, the whole wave, the whole fifth wave will be an A, B, C. Well, guess what? We've done A, we've done B. So we're in that last leg up.
And then you're looking for 1, 2, 3 down. So it's a one
I'm
sharp
looking for
move down,
ABC down.
a
It's a
2
one,
goes
two,
up,
three.
and then the 3 is a big one, right?
Well, actually, yes, but the whole it'll come up. Yeah, it'll come in 5, but they might all be 3s. That's a strange thing to say, but yes, it should come in 5. And what I see here's my all my different colors, and they just mean that's the minute. This is the minor degree, and minor degree that's pretty high actually, 6250 in the cash market, guys, in the cash. So, and then 100% for this minute degree is 6305. And then for the C wave, 100% is 6357. So that's my window. That's my window of opportunity. Now, right now, one other thing I want to add that is totally dictating trading, because you have to remember, Sonny, what did she write? An algorithm. She wrote an algorithm because she's brilliant, but she wrote an algorithm that trades the market based on other algorithms, which are called the moving averages and the dynamic moving average. So she's made it so, but it's algorithms. Everything is algorithms. And right now, Jim, your backyard, options are ruling the world.
Oh God, yeah.
So goes the options, so goes the market.
Yeah.
And if we can just remember that. So there's a wonderful firm out there that has they have models that measure gamma and how gamma gathers and where it gets placed and what does it produce. Things like a call wall, a put wall, a volatility trigger.
A grant.
When they get triggered, all hell breaks loose. So,
because you got a trade imbalance, and then all you got left for liquidity is Citadel and Goldman.
well, which is usually the start, right? So,
Yeah.
but you're right, and the liquidity is there, but the algorithms are so programmed that I mean, I can tell you where we have what we call order blocks, and we're another place where we have fair value gaps because the market just suddenly just dumps or just runs up. And then as soon as it's over, it's like you're like, okay, what's next? So they're all algorithmically controlled. They're tradable, but they're also predictable. And so that's why I have my fibs because the markets and the algorithms tend to run to the fibs. And I think once it's done, it may overshoot it, it may go a little bit further, but I don't see this as a long term because the reality is there are real things that are going to interfere. So, and one of them might be exactly what Sonny said. They may just raise the interest rates because if you pay attention to the CPI and the PPI, they are coming in hot. They're
And
not continuing to
PCE
drop.
next Friday. We got PCE next Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I find so interesting, and maybe you guys notice it as well. They're serious when they come out and say like CPI came out hot last Wednesday, I guess it was. And on Thursday, PPI comes out. It was showing also an increase, but somehow they managed to fix it so that it was showing on a month over month, a decrease. So, but Tuesday's or Wednesday's number was totally muted, and it produced a fairly large drop. But by the end of the day, who cares?
So,
So
Michael, real quick, when you were saying it's going to pop maybe from here into some new highs, what was your window essentially? Was it like 6,200 to 6,350, or what were your
yeah,
numbers that
actually
you
it is. There it is sitting up there. 62.22 up to 63.60, we'll say.
60?
But it doesn't necessarily have to go all the way up there because it all is going to be based on the structure itself.
Yeah.
When the structure is done, and you'll know because here you can see it. There's the five, there's a three. So I'm now looking for five again, and then three down, and then another five. But I can't forecast what the correction, which I'm only looking for an ABC down, might turn into a triangle, might turn into a double ABC. But we see those like right here. This was supposed to be just a simple ABC. It turns into a complex. And sideways, basically. So yeah, that's kind of the target. But because I really do think we are not on steady ground here. We're running up in what I'm calling a diagonal. We're running up on air. The market is running out of gas. This is also the one thing that I tell people that follow me and that work together with me. I still see trillions of dollars, literally trillions of dollars swirling around our markets every day. But when I start to see money come out, like I did today, I don't know where they're going to put it, but it starts to come out. Well, then I start paying attention to we must be getting close to the top because they're taking money out. It's not like there's all this money waiting on the sidelines to come back in. That we don't know. They're taking money out. And maybe they're going to put it in
Well, I
cash.
can tell they're putting it into dividend growth. DGRO was up today. I think they're putting it into value, and I think the equal weighted S&P. I think David knows the symbol RPS or RSP or something like that.
Uh, yeah, RSP, I think.
RSP. That obviously has been the way people are going because
Oh,
you
the
know.
equal weight. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that'll
Invesco
top.
S&P 500 RSP.
The thing is, it
Yeah.
will also top and it will also drop.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's my point.
Yeah.
No matter where we put it, nothing will escape. And it doesn't mean the end of the world, but nothing will escape. It depends on how agile you are, how quickly you can move from one asset to another asset class. Um, you know, everybody thought that Bitcoin was just going to keep going. It's just it's going to 10 billion. It's like that might be,
Yeah.
but right now it's probably going to go further down. Or things that are dollar sensitive.
Well, I'll tell you one other thing, Michael, that's interesting is the home builders are all tanking.
Yes, yes, they
So,
are.
you're getting signals. I mean,
You
you might
are
not want to look at
getting.
them, but that retail sales down zero point 0.9. That's no
Did
joke.
you see what it did to Costco this morning
And yeah,
on
but
those
now they're starting
retail
to
sales?
say to themselves, "Listen, I mean, if you have a growth scare, all these things are in trouble because the valuations are through the roof."
I agree, but here's one more factor, and Jim, you are very aware of this, of course. But we see this whole conversation of tariffs take a back seat. But they're kind of going after Canada. They're going after Mexico. Then we're not. Yeah, we are. We're going to go after the European Union. Yeah, we are. No, we're not. But the one that they're still holding to, and we have not heard what the other side's really going to do, is China. And if they really start to tariff China imports, watch out what they do to Costco.
Yeah,
Everything we buy in bulk and get at a very cheap price is because it's made in China. It
Right.
might have a Calvin Klein tag on it or any of the big names, but it's manufactured in China. And therefore, as well as the iPhone, or most of Apple's products are manufactured in China. We will see the prices go up and their sales go down.
and they're striking a deal with Alibaba to try to get in there a little bit closer to their government. And Taiwan
Yeah,
Semi striking a deal with Intel, so maybe they could use those big factories that the government paid for. Maybe those factories will say Taiwan Semi on top rather than Intel.
possibly. I mean, there's all that, but I mean, even, yeah, there's just so much going on that
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it has to settle out
yeah,
so that we can get a firm grip on, okay, what is what and
yeah.
where are things should they move? Because right now, and something else that John, that I think we all know is that, when we're looking at something like gold, which yesterday tanked like nobody's business. Why? Well, because it gets put in the news and all over YouTube is that the president's considering revaluating gold. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, wait a minute. The gold market does not listen to what you have to say, Mr. President, but you can revalue what the gold holdings are at Fort Knox. That possibly can, but I don't think you can do it by the swipe of a pen or just because I
Well,
think
there
it's
is a purpose to it because I was watching Bloomberg and they said the Treasury can take that revaluated gold and pledge it at the Fed to borrow money.
that's correct. And I
And
hope the
that's
Fed
it.
says
Obviously,
no.
that's the intent. That's the intent.
Well, the intent may be there, but the reality does not. I mean, the other thing I believe people should know is that the Federal Reserve is not a federal agency. It's a privately owned bank
Mhm.
and has been from day one. So, you know,
Well, just
whether
in
the Fed's going to
saying
say, "Oh,
something.
sure, you've reevaluated." Okay, well, we're going to move that gold from Fort Knox and we're going to put it in the Federal Reserve Bank, which some of it is. So, I don't
Yeah, but
know.
the intent is to borrow.
The intent is to borrow. And
And
I
that
wonder,
also may put gold in a bind because if you put up something as collateral, you would assume the person who's holding it as collateral would have the right to sell it if you didn't pay.
you
So,
got that right.
so that would make me nervous as a gold holder that the
Well,
Fed is
exactly.
holding on to 479,000 ounces, of
Right.
which they may have to sell.
Right. And the thing is, it's like I think gold traders, they're so brilliant. Gold market makers, right? They're now the dealers. And they're just such brilliant traders because this is their response to that idea. Well, we're just going to take this up $50. What do you
Yeah.
think? I think it's extremely interesting the time in which we live.
Oh God. I mean, this is like a movie. You can't wait to see how it ends by the end of the year, even. I mean, by
And
the end
being
of
that
the
I
year,
grew
I
up
mean,
in
I
Hollywood, I
listen.
don't
By the
even
end of
want
the
to
year,
take
you
a
could be at
stab at it.
7,000 on the S&P. You could be at 5,000 on the S&P. You can build a case for either one of them.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
But May
And
in
that
these interesting times is an old Chinese curse,
There you go.
you know?
now, Sonny, why don't you grab the screen back and let's go through some markets like the gold, like the oil, like the U.S. dollar, and see if we've got some trends there that we could talk about.
We've got a few of them here. What would you like to see first?
Whatever you decide. Ladies' choice.
Oh, well, let's do gold because I love gold.
My
So we had a nothing day right here, and yesterday a nice big up day. It was up like 51 or $52.
yeah.
And I still think gold's going to 3,000, which is not very far away now.
Mm-mm.
It's very close.
Yes, it is.
And
Goldman said 3,100. Hey, listen, I think if it goes through here, you'll probably be at 3,300. Why not a 10% move if it got going?
yeah, I think that it's bounced off of this DMA, the dynamic moving average.
Yeah.
And I think now the next move is up to the upper outer band, which is 2987. That won't be very hard to reach. But I do think I told my gold dealer, I think we're going to hit 3,000
No, yeah.
in no time.
I would only be interested on a pullback towards 2,750, 2,700, or even 2,600. That would be a more reasonable place to get in if you could. But
If it pulls
you know,
back to there, I'm buying more.
that's what I'm trying to say. But that's how you make money in gold. You don't buy the strength because every time you buy big strength, it has the pullback.
Yeah.
So, this is a time you should have bought it 26, 26.50 lately. And this should just be gravy time for you, not really starting a new position.
I bought down at 1900.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, the thing's been up thing since 1900. It's been steady. It had a few pullbacks along the way, but pretty much it's steady Eddie from
Yeah.
1,800 to $3,000. So it's not like a tough trend to follow.
No,
No.
it's not. It's a good one.
Reminds me of IBM. IBM has the same kind of chart. Boom, 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 all the way up. Let's go to the oil then, because I think oil at a critical level of $70. And so far, it looks like it's holding. Yeah, you're down there at the same neighborhood, right? That's
Well, and
those lows.
it's holding below the purple DMA. Purple's on top, which is overall bearish,
Yeah.
and it's flat, which is speaking to congestion. So
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing the congestion right in here below this DMA.
Yep.
I think since it didn't get all the way down to the lower outer band on weakness, the down move's weak and it's going to come back up to this DMA, which is right here.
What
And
number? Let's use numbers here.
all right, it's 73 and change, 73.20.
Yeah. Key number above 73, above 77, right?
I think it's going to stall again at the purple DMA at that level
Yeah.
and then come back down again.
What is the green top? Where does that come in?
Top is up here at 78,
There you go.
76.27.
Yeah. So you get above 73 and change, you get above 78 and change, you're back on the horse. Up until that point, it's kind of a churning type thing.
Now the sunny bands are kind of curling in. You see how this movement comes curling in? That
Yeah, good.
often produces big moves. So it could be a big move down or a big move up. We don't know at this point.
If it breaks 65, 62, where's your lower band there? I have 65, 62.
70. I've got 70 down there.
Well, 70 is key, but I mean, to get into that acceleration phase, I think more like 65 or 62.
And we will come down to this other flat DMA back in history here, and it's down to 68.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. I mean, it's hard. Like I say, and underneath it is the abyss, right? There's nothing underneath 60.
Not till 64. Is that what this is? Yeah, 64.
No, I mean underneath 60 though. Underneath 60 to 65.
There's nothing down there.
Yeah. So if you want an acceleration to the downside, you start breaking that 60, 65 area. And I think with cause.
Well, if we break 68, then it's going down there.
Yeah. So that's a critical point. That's why I say very critical point on the oil. What about that US dollar DXY? I had a great short signal at 108.50.
Dollar DXY. So we are under the DMA, just like on oil. We're coming down though to the lower outer band. I think we've got a ride down to 105.87.
There you go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And do you see the 108.50 as a neighborhood of resistance?
108.50.
Oh my God, yes. Sorry.
I mean, I had a traffic jam of moving averages telling me to sell it there.
Yeah, that's true. That's right above this DMA, 108.
Yep.
So it's likely to go up to the DMA and then back down again. So the DMA is at 107.80 something. And I think we're going to test that level and then come on down again.
Well, how about your buddy Bitcoin? How's that doing?
Bitcoin seems to go the same way that E-mini does. And right now it's also under this flat DMA, which speaks to congestion, which we have. And I think it's coming down. We've got Fibonacci lines from there to there. So it looks like it's coming down to, which one is this? The 38, which is at 96, 90, yeah, 96 something.
Isn't it 87? Your marker's on the other end.
Is it?
Yeah. It's on the left
I
side.
think we're coming down to here, which is 87,940.
Yeah.
See that? 87,940.
Yeah.
And that'll scare a lot of people. You know, a lot of people saw a whole lot of profit in this thing for a while there. Everybody was talking about 200,000. Oh, that's where it's going next, 200,000. I have my chiropractor even asked me if it was going to hit 200 before year end. Well, I don't know. You know, I never make long-term predictions because the market can just gyrate like crazy.
Well, I can show you a signal when you know it's back on the horse. Put up a MSTR.
Mister?
And yeah, they
Mister.
just came out with another $2 billion private equity. So they're going to put it all in Bitcoin. But I'll tell you something right
Oh my
now.
gosh.
This thing gets above 350, 360. I think it's game on. What are your numbers?
Well, my number at this flat DMA is 364.
Yeah. So you close above that, we're back on the horse, right?
Well, only up to this level, which is 422.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my stuff is pretty much really saying that if we can get above that 360 number, because there's a big cluster of averages meeting there. And obviously, so far we haven't. So obviously, that area was a good place to short. But I wouldn't buy a Bitcoin with found money until that MSTR got above 360.
What is MSTR?
That's MicroStrategy with Michael Saylor.
Taylor.
And he is the king of crypto because he creates a very good story that crypto is like New York real estate. There's only so much of it. It's always going to have value. It's going to go up and down, but you know, it's not never going to have value of some good. And from time to time, it'll have excessive value. So basically, you know, he thinks it's a finite quantity, like 26 miles of Manhattan,
Well,
and
he's
that.
down. Look at this big red candle right here. He's down from this all-time high.
Oh yeah, no. Hey, listen, but he also went from 140 up there too. I mean, I was on that ride, and anybody who buys anything at 550 that used to be at 140, they get what they get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, same guys who buying a Tesla at 500 when it used to be 200. You want to play that game, you better get Band-Aids, you know? But when it comes into the fold, then it's a little bit more interesting. And that's why it's a little more interesting here on the MicroStrategy, because if it went to the 225 or 250 area, do you have any support around that neighborhood?
Well, I've got support down at 125.
Yeah, well,
250 is quite a ways up from there.
yeah, yeah.
Right about
I had some stuff going on around there.
Yeah. Speaking of
Well, anyway,
Tesla,
yeah, you know, like I say, you can't go up to 150,000 until you take out the high points. So every day that every day it's under 110, every day it's under 100 grand is another day where the possibility of going down to 75 or 80 grand is not off the table,
That's right.
you know.
You want to see
Uh,
Tesla? You mentioned Tesla.
yeah, why don't we look at Tesla here?
I'm a buyer of Tesla right now. Tesla's not an investable, it's a tradable to
Yeah.
me. It goes up and then sideways, up and then down, up and then down. And I think this down level right here is a good one to be buying at.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't agree, Michael?
No, I was just saying,
Okay.
There's a couple of companies that have earnings coming out this week, and there could be a nice play on the upside. They're both involved with restaurants. And although the retail sales were down 0.9, sales in bars and restaurants were way up. So
Yeah, I
that
heard that same
sector,
thing.
that sector. So first one's called Toast, T-O-S-T.
oh yeah.
They are a tech company that deals in point of sale technology. And I was in one of the casinos, and the reason I came into the stock at $25 is I saw the casinos when they brought my credit card, it said Toast on it. I go, what the hell's Toast do? I looked it up and I said, hey, if Red Rock casinos are using it, maybe everybody's using it, so why not take a shot at it?
Yeah.
TOST, what do you think of it?
I think it's gonna, well, it came up today with a nice little gap there, and it wicked up to the upper outer band.
Yeah.
I think it could see a little more upside, maybe on up to let's see, what is this? 43.75. And what is it now? It's at 42.40. So we've got a point or so.
Could it break out on a good earnings, and then the bands would have to change?
Yes, it would. The bands will get higher as price goes up. And for if it's bullish, if we've got a really good run going, it'll stay up at the upper outer band through that whole move.
Well, they announce after the close tomorrow. The other one is on Thursday, and Thursday is before the market open, and it's on Shake Shack, SHAK. These
And
people got to be eating and drinking somewhere.
Yeah, and they're not going to work, so they can eat and drink at Shake
Yeah.
Shack. So this has touched the dynamic moving average. I think it's going to go above that up to 124.40. And it'll probably do that in the next few days.
Yeah. So there's a couple of what they call
3 points.
earnings plays. Earnings plays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tomorrow there's one coming out, but I think it's already made its move. Etsy, ETSY.
Etsy's got to move above the dynamic moving average on a gap. So it looks like it wants to go to 58.90. So it'll probably go on up tomorrow or the next day and hit this upper band. And then it'll raise the upper band and they'll go on up if it's going to continue that movement.
Now, I've been keeping track of through a couple of resources on the stocks that have done the best this year, both on the NASDAQ and the S&P. And I also compare it to how they did in the week. So in other words, Palantir on Friday, it was up 57% for the year, and it was up 7.5% for the week. But it's so far extended, it didn't interest me. But Micron Technology, MU, and Zscaler, ZS, did interest me because they had good weeks and they've been going up. So what do you think of those two? One's in cybersecurity, the other one is data storage. So
MU is
MU, yep.
Yeah, and it's right almost at this local high, which is the yellow dot right here. These dots I call my PHW, potential hourly wage, and they measure how much money potential there is on any symbol you want to put them on. And I think it's got a little bit higher to go up to 111. And then I think it'll retrace a little bit.
It has been a pretty good stock in the last month. That's for sure, though, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The other one is Zscaler, ZS. They got earnings coming out on March 19.
Oh, that's so far. That's so far in the future. It's long term.
Yeah, actually, no. Zscaler's got them next week. Micron's got them on 3/19.
Okay.
Anyway, let's see what that old cybersecurity guy, because CrowdStrike's gone nuts. Fortinet went nuts. I had that on my report 2 weeks ago, and it really did good. So these cybersecurity guys, is it looking
We
all right?
are right at the place that it could either break out tomorrow or we
Right.
could start retracing. And if we do the Michael thing, we've got 1, 2, 3, and then it could retrace in a 4. And it could I call them lateral 4s, where it just rings you out, just goes and goes and goes sideways.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Michael,
This
do
is,
you have a couple of other markets you want to show us some Elliott Wave Fibonacci numbers on? Like I know you did the stock market, but do you have something going on for another market you like to follow, be it the gold or?
I will, as a matter of fact, I'm restarting my service on gold, silver, and platinum. And
My
now
buddy's buying into platinum and palladium. He says they're dirt cheap, and if you hold them long enough, they're definitely going to give you a big run.
definitely I wouldn't do that.
Okay, okay. Yeah. By the way, he's a physical dealer out of Phoenix, and so he
Well,
can
he should know
take
better.
delivery
He
to
knows
stuff.
that the producers and the actual users of platinum, which are like in the, electric cars, they use some platinum and different things that they use platinum. They come in December and January and buy everything they need. And you'll notice that platinum did just that.
Oh, so platinum, you got his chart up there on it.
Well, well, actually, I
Is
think
that
yeah,
PLJ?
it's a D. What is it? P, what?
PLJ is the April platinum.
Give me that symbol again, please.
Peter, Larry, Jimmy.
PLJ.
If it's a,
S&P 1000
It's
micro.
a it's a
if it,
futures contract. If
so
that
you have
means
to put
anything.
the
Oh, you have to
25.
put 25. There you go. You're right, Sonny.
Oops. I'll get to it eventually. PLJ. Platinum
25.
futures. No, platinum futures are just for me,
We got to put 25 up there, or you have a different symbol in your system. I don't know.
just PL. And this is a continuing. So this
So it
is
should
a
have bottomed at 950 or something like that.
here it's 9. That's the one where they really sold it
Nine.
off yesterday or today actually, because I'm on my hourly chart. Let me show you on 3 week. I'll go out one more, a 5-year chart. It really tells the tale. This is what platinum has been doing since 2022. It's been moving sideways and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And I think what happened here, which would have been in February the 10th, it reached its peak from the buying, and look what it's done. It's now back below 995. That high was 1,063. They're done. Buyers are done. Get out. And so I feel
You
that,
think it's a seasonal thing? They buy and then the story's
oh, it's
over.
definitely a
Because
seasonal.
I got a
Definitely.
traffic jam of averages coming in at 950, 960, which again is
Well,
$50
yeah,
lower.
I have 958. You got yes, I got all my moving averages still actually in tune to go up. But if the 8 starts to turn, and here I'm on a weekly chart, so you'd really want to check it on a daily.
Yeah.
You can see the 8's turn, the 20 is kind of turning, the 50 wants to go flat, and the 200 is going flat. So that agrees with you, and that does support at like 979 and definitely support at 960. Those are just fib levels. And see what platinum will do, it at times will play along with gold up and down, but there are times it just goes into its own little world. So it's a precious metal, but it has its own separate moves. For example, it was down today. Well, gold was up massively.
Yeah.
So, but what I
Yeah.
wanted to show you,
Listen, I don't like either market. Yeah, they're thin and small, and they're not my cup of tea. I just was wondering one thing. Let's put up something that is important. XME. I've been in there since $55. I think it could explode to the upside. That's a pretty big statement. Is it a baloney statement or is it a true statement?
I, well, the daily kind of agrees with you, and all your moving averages are still pointing higher. So I would, excuse me, oops, I didn't want that one. I want one more.
Look at the 20-year graph, the monthly. That'll get you going.
20-year. I got the 5-year, but I'll go
Oh,
with I'll give
even
you.
5 years looking like it's trying to break out above the
But
numbers.
look at that. the depth of it. But I will agree, if I go from there, which is the pandemic low, you've kind of got one, two, and then you get one, two, three, four. Yeah, it still has more. That's on the monthly. But I think what we're dealing with, it shows a nice correction and then it goes like crazy.
Yeah.
So that's
And
a
every time it's had
one,
that correction
there's
to
a
your line
two.
there, it's been a
If
great
you go
time to
from that,
buy.
so you make a good point in that it could just kind of explode
Go
out.
parabolic on you.
Kind of, yes, it really could.
Yeah. That's called a head and shoulder, reverse head and shoulders, maybe.
Sort of.
Did you,
A little bit. Yeah.
Jim, did you say XME?
Yeah. XME, X-ray, Mary, and Eddie.
Oh, I'm in the XMI.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why the chart looks so
To
much
say
different
my
than the one I
chart
got.
doesn't look
Yeah.
like that.
Thank you for that correction. The XME,
Yeah.
well, it came down in five, Jim.
Yeah.
One, two, three, four. No, actually, take it back. A, B, one, two, three, four, five. No, it came down in an ABC. And now it's kind of one, two, one, two. Yeah, it could, because it kind of could be a launch pad.
Right. And
Um,
look at your monthly now. Go to the monthly and you'll see what I'm seeing.
Sorry for the confusion. Um,
Yeah. There you go. So you
yeah,
see a nice steady uptrend, and all we need is well, listen, they seem to be very interested in the natural resources of Ukraine, so somebody must know these metals are valuable. And if you start putting tariffs on the metals, cobalt, steel, aluminum, these things will probably go up in price, maybe.
yeah. Um, but they could,
Alcoa is not going to take the loss.
I think we're in for a little correction on this one.
It could.
yeah, I see that as well, Sonny. I do see
I
that.
was thinking more like a 3 to 6 month basis, 3 to 6 month basis type
I
thing.
think it's like if it comes back down and it tests the 50-day moving average or 50 period moving average on a monthly chart at
Yeah,
50.84 or even in that area, yeah, I think it would. But I'd be
yeah,
paying very close attention to what that structure looked like
yeah.
and
But as
what
long as it
seems,
stays above that purple line here, you essentially have an uptrend, and an uptrend is really just waiting for more good news unless they can really reverse
well,
it. And
I should
reversing
draw
an
your
uptrend like
attention
that
to
is
the
not that easy
RSI
to do.
though. RSI peaked there. Now we've made another new high and the RSI is struggling. So, I mean, and I'm seeing that in more places, which doesn't necessarily say that the market won't continue to go up. What it says, it is going up selectively. So
Yeah,
this is an ETF. So something in the ETF is really pushing where other things are not.
yeah,
So
that's it.
we saw
How about
massive, if we saw stronger relative strength within the whole index, it means more of that index is running up versus
copper?
some.
Copper's the thing that's probably keeping it down a little bit, and copper is trying to make a turn down here. So if that kicks in, I think then you'll be home free.
And you could, right.
But well,
One thing
let's look at one last one that I think it has potential to be big, but I'd love to see your count on it. Boeing,
Oh my
BA.
God. Yeah, there's that one. I don't mean to say it like that.
Tell me this, the new supersonic transport that they're building, the boom, something or other,
Uh-huh.
is that done by Boeing?
I don't
I'm not
know.
certain. I'm not
Somebody
certain.
told me yesterday that they thought it was done by Boeing, and if it is, I'm not going to take it.
The
Yeah.
thing is, it's like there's the pandemic. That's three up. That's three down. There's five up. That's A, B, C. And now it's heading down. I,
So you don't think it'll hold that line
well,
there
that's
too
a
much?
monthly. Now, if we
Yeah.
drop it back down, let's go look at a
Because
3-year
the
weekly. No, I don't.
has to get above 92. If it got above 92,
190, well, yeah, first thing you got to do is clear the weekly
yeah, if it cleared it, what's the purple line come in there? 192?
200. It's the 200.
Oh, 200. Well, if it gets above 200, it's home free.
Basically, that's the thought. Yes, I
And
will.
those moving averages, those averages are pointing up on that chart you were just looking
Well,
at.
I'm going to tell you, I just dropped it down to the daily, and the daily has just turned even more positive. We have the 8 hugging the rally, we have the 20 balanced out with it, and we had the 200 which turned, and look what happened
And they're crossing.
on just last week.
And
Yeah.
that's a golden cross.
The 50 broke the 200, and now it's above, which technically, when you're talking moving averages, they're in alignment to go up.
And that's a
Yeah.
golden cross, which also speaks to bullish.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. You are correct. Yeah.
I think it's a $240 stock before the end of the year, and the options are very cheap on them. So sign me
You know
up.
what? Then I think it's a
Sign me
good
up for
deal.
those.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
found something cheap in options and yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, how about Qualcomm, QCOM? That was making a turn, and it's coming out of the abyss a little bit.
Oh, oh, use the O.
I was looking at some
Qualcomm,
13D filing. Some of the big
but did you
shooters
notice
are
what they
still
did
holding
to
on. Yeah, this thing
Broadcom
looks like
today?
this thing could accelerate to the upside, couldn't
Mm,
it? If it breaks that high.
Yeah, I don't think so much.
I don't think so much either. Sorry, Jim. Well, because, and again, yeah, I like using options and I probably would, but see, every time it's
Yeah,
tried
I mean,
twice,
I wouldn't buy
to
the
fail.
stock, but if you can buy an option for 150, $200 and go out 3 months, and if the thing breaks that high, those options will scream.
Right, you're gonna get a gold. You get the gold ring. I agree. But each time it's tried to go up and break, it
It's had
fails
some trouble.
and fails and fails. So the Qualcomm, yeah. I mean, look at this little piggy.
Qualcomm's a local San Diego company, and so I like it because of that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's hard to trade.
it is. I mean, I could pick a lot of them that are like in the backyard and here in San Francisco. Palantir being one.
Yeah,
So,
I love Palantir.
but I mean, there's so many things happening behind the scenes, um, particularly with, you know, I'll tell you someone to watch is Sam Altman.
Yeah,
I mean, this guy, major Democrat, and he has just absolutely become the golden boy to the Republicans. It's something extremely interesting to watch.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
anyway, I think that is a large three down, Jim, in Broadcom, but it's having a little trouble suddenly. They were
All
taking
that now,
profit.
Nvidia. Okay, how about Nvidia? We'll go two more before we have to sign off. Nvidia, and let's look at the small caps IWM because I think the small caps is the best deal on the board if this market's going up.
If they could just get over themselves and
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
I
I think
But
agree.
Nvidia's
this
gonna go.
Nvidia,
I
Nvidia,
think
Nvidia, yeah,
but they're
beautiful at
just
one
buying it
fifteen.
in because the earnings are coming.
And I'm
Yep.
thinking
Next.
Nvidia is going to go to 153.
I could, but that's only $10. I mean, it's still 10 tradable
It's
bucks.
$10.
Till 10 tradable bucks. You're right.
I definitely want to staying above 130, 135 though, right?
Well, see how fast it went up? It'll tell you how fast it can go down. This is a huge,
But
huge, 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 huge institutional stock.
and where's your line across the middle there? Is that 130, 135?
That was actually a measurement for a wave four, and it went all the way across to 132.
There you
Um,
go.
but that was for a wave four to show me one that goes to four to show me where five is, and five is at 156.39.
That's
But it
probably
was
what it could hit. I think it's going to go up towards 160 on good earnings.
no, actually not anymore because that was old, and I'd have to take that all down because it was invalidated on that move.
On the 114 or
Yeah.
115 took it off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It took it. It broke it way before that too. Broke it here, and then the gap put it to rest. One
All
thing
right,
I
how
want
about
to say before we,
IWM? These are always expensive options. What about IWM? They have cheap options, and it has. I have it as support at 224 and resistance at around 230. And for gosh sake, break out,
okay,
please.
I can share with you some really interesting facts that go along with IWM, and that's where all of this gamma is sitting. And you're right because you understand gamma, so I can
Hmm.
talk about that. Right now, it's sitting at 226. At 227, just exactly, I guess we're closed. 227 is the volatility trigger. If they break higher, it should go. If they break lower, it should drop. It's that point where trade turns from risk off to risk on or risk on to risk off. If they're breaking a volatility and taking it lower, it's risk off. If they're pushing it higher, it's risk on. And this index really has been sitting here, you can see, for a while. And if I look at the RTY, it's even worse. But here in the IWM, 227 is a volatility trigger. If we can get above 227, we got 230 sitting just in the wings, and that there's a large gamma position sitting there. And then if it can get through that, then at 235 is the call wall.
Now, how do you know that, Michael? How do you know there's a large gamma position?
Spot Gamma.
Okay.
That's the name of the firm, Spot Gamma. And they
Okay.
run models. And the gentleman who started Spot Gamma, Brett Kachuba, is brilliant. And his models are really good. And he's the one that basically told me, he's like, look, as the options go, so does the market. And it's true. And it's true. Look at the SPX. The SPX is totally controlled by zero DTE, by big boys, big traders. And
Yeah.
there's somebody out there called Mr. Iron, Mr. Condor. He comes in every day. I mean, but he's trading 10, 20, 30,000 contracts in an Iron Condor in zero DTE.
Wow.
Sometimes he wins and sometimes he loses. So, it's kind of very interesting, but algorithms are in control. Algorithms are in control of IWM, of everything. So that's why I follow these, because they're programmed. They're programmed with these levels in mind. And so they go. But I have to tell you, I also do the Russell, and then just even looking at the RTY, look at this mess.
No, it's a traffic jam.
It's a big traffic jam. You're right.
Yeah.
But
traffic jams. Hey, listen, traffic jams don't last forever. At some point, somebody
no, they
says you
don't.
go.
And I'm waiting for this one. It keeps in the Russell in the futures market. It keeps ticking itself above 2,300. It needs to get above 2,303.
Yeah.
I
And
think it's
if the yields back off of this 460 neighborhood that it just hit, if they go back under 440 down towards 420, this thing will take off like a bat out of hell.
Yeah, I think it's going to 2338.
2338. Oh, that would be good, but I think I'll show you. I think it's going to 2455 and needs to get up as close as it can to 2500 before
Yeah,
this whole thing is finished. Before this is finished. So it is also in a triangle pattern. And the choice is that either it's got one more, it's going to make a big through the moon push, like a moonshot, we'll call it, and then correct.
Then correct.
Or this turns into 5, and this is all part of the correction, and it goes the opposite direction.
All right, we got a couple of minutes here. I wanted Sunny to introduce herself on how people can get a hold of you. Then I want you to do it, Michael, and then I'll close it out after that. So, Sunny, how do people contact you, and what do you have for offer?
Well, I can give you a 25% discount on anything you get before Friday's over. And that's how you contact me, right there in the chat. That's my phone number. I like for people to give me a call. It's my cell phone. I don't answer it while I'm in a Zoom call, but leave a message and I'll call you right back. And I have moneymentor.com, and everything I offer is on there. If you'll just give me a call and tell me you want 25% off of Sunny Bands, we can set you up.
And you can also tell them everything else about the chat room and everything else. You got too much to list here.
I have
so
I have a live trading room that I do every day.
Yeah.
Trade live with an audience, which is nerve-wracking, I'll tell you. But I do that. You can log into that on moneymentor.com as well. And let me just type that in. Moneymentor.com.
There it is, right there.
Yep.
All right, that's great. And Michael, how do people get a hold of you, and what do you have that you'd like them to take advantage of?
Sure. You can get a hold of me by sending me an email at michael@mgf1partners.com. What I have cooking right now is that I have started, or I'm offering, a day trader course for those that really want to know how to day trade in an algorithmic market.
6:00 p.m.
Oh, it is 6:00, so I'm going to hurry. And we have that, but I also am offering out an Elliot wave course, and I'm breaking that down into 2 sections. There's the beginner, and then there's the more advanced. So depending on where you are within your Elliot wave, you could choose which one you would need. Both I'm offering. If you want to have more information, go to logicalsignals.com and look under teaching/coaching.
Perfect. As far as option professor is concerned, there's 3 things that the option traders need. One is education. So we have an options master class. And the options master class goes for 6 hours, 3 sessions. Second thing we have option ideas. I can show you some of our big movers. We've had some outstanding movers, like give you, for instance, Baba, $90 calls for $500. Bob is at in the money by 3,700 now. So we've had some pretty good ones. And also finally, we have coaching. So if you have a little question on options, you can talk to me directly. So between education, ideas, and coaching, I think it's a good place for you to come by. So David will put up a link there for you to check us out, or you could go and shoot me an email to optionprofessor@gmail.com. Put in your contact information and we'll have a talk. All right, it's top of the hour. We're a little bit over time, but not too bad, David. And I'm going to send it back to you. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you, Michael. And we'll get together soon.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you,
You
Jim.
bet. Yep.
All right. A great Tuesday evening show for this week. So if you like this evening time spot, I am going to do the next several weeks of the show as Monday evening, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So you'll be able to access that at TimingResearch.com if you want to join us live. And just a reminder too, if you subscribe to Timing Research on YouTube or Substack or your favorite podcast app, you can get the recordings that way as well. And they're always on TimingResearch.com as soon as I can get the archive posted. So, and then just want to thank my guests again for today, Michael Filighera of LogicalSignals.com, Sonny Harris of MoneyMentor.com, and the Option Professor of OptionProfessor.com. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, David.